Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I am again in the T-29, and it has been a while since I played the tank. I mean, of course, it is a tank that I play more often than some of the other American tanks. Again, there are over 1,000 vehicles spread across War Thunder through 7 nations, planes, ships, and of course tanks. But there is one issue that I had, and that was lack of civil lines. Now, stop. I have 111 million civil lines. How can civil lines be an issue? Okay, listen to me because this is an interesting story. Some of you might not be aware of how I got the silver lines. It was excessive, and I mean ridiculously excessive bombing sessions back in the days with my clan members when we were actively playing together on a regular basis in arcade, and we were just bombing the hell out of the enemy bases. We reduced the enemy bases to ashes within a few minutes, got not hundreds of thousands of civil lines, but 30,000-40,000 civil lines, and if the match lasts just 3-4 minutes after the initial rush, then you can imagine that you got within an hour several millions of silver lines, and therefore I could afford to purchase every tank and every plane in the game, get it into a crew slot and expert it. And the majority of my jets that I've never flown have an expert crew and a place in a crew with an expert status. And this was excessive money spending, and whenever there was a chance for me to spend money, I just could throw out the civil lines. I had enough. I was like bling bling bling, and those days are gone, not because of arcade, because of numerous changes, economy changes, yada yada yada, just name it. Okay, and the other thing is, I was recently on a dev server, and just by getting all the new helicopters and tanks and so forth into a crew without purchasing them for civil lines because they were already unlocked, and getting them into a usable expert crew, which you need these days to get the extra performance out of a vessel, vehicle, whatever, to get it into a at least acceptable competitive status. That cost me 30 million silver lines, and that was just I know that 1.81 will be a massive update, and probably an update that will never come again except for ships. And so if this patch already will cost me in excess of 30 million silver lines, I'm down to 80 million silver lines, and then when ships come out, I don't want to end up as a poor peasant that needs to actively grind for civil lines. And there we have it. I'm arrogant. But honestly, you need to look out for civil lines, and whenever there was a civil line booster to run out, whenever I was like a bit bored with my normal grinding of a tank or a plane, I switched to a low tier vessel, used up the civil line in a efficient manner, and then just simply got something out for my booster. And I had for years and years, as I made in another video, a premium account that also helps. And from time to time I just try to have fun going through the nations with some of my premium planes. And recently, and this is now ending the circle of argumentation which leads me to the T-29, I grinded again with planes, but I got a bit bored with my German P-47. I got bored with the British and also the Japanese premium Corsairs. I also got bored with the PV-2D, and those were planes that got me millions of civil lines in RRB. But from time to time, what about tanks? Now, for me personally, I was always convinced that overall planes make more money, and it depends on how you look at it, how reliable it is to go into a match and to get the amount of kills that you need to get to the same amount of civil lines, how often you can repeat it, how high are the repair costs, how often does this nation win a game, and in general, how high is your win rate, because this all affects your average income. And this is important, and this is where it leads me to the T-29. The T-29 is a heavy tank that I always respected as some of the one of the best tier 4 premiums that there is. It's heavily rivaled by the also incredibly fun Super Hellcat, but not every map suits Hellcat or does suit the T-29. So with a lineup, you can from the begin choose, of course, which tank to use, which one is better suited if you're in up tier, if you're not down tier, which kind of elimination you face, and so forth. Now, this is where I ended up on this map with the T-29. Normally, this is actually Hellcat territory, or a Super Hellcat territory, with all the ups and downs and the problems of the T-29 when it comes to just swinging the tank around. I think this is where you just have some problems with the T-29 when it comes to maneuverability. But if you have such really nice ambush spots, and yes, I did see this Panther, but somebody pinged here the location next to him. Where is the Panther? Ah, there he is. Yeah, he nearly escaped, nearly. And I think the T-29 is overall a very good tank in terms of its armor, its survivability, and also its firepower together, which is backed up not just by very good ammunition with high penetration and a decent reload, but also 50 cals, which will come in handy later. Now we're fighting here the Germans, and yeah, the Germans. I was going to the middle despite there being the A-cap on the flank, so I was flanking through the middle with a heavy tank. I saw the kill messages very early on, and I saw that there was a Tiger and a Packwagen, and a Packwagen is ridiculously dangerous on a map like this in the right hands, much like a Super Hellcat, but without a turret, of course. But you need to kill that thing. It can wreak havoc, and it's mostly played by also seasoned veterans of War Thunder, so they know where to be, how to make the most out of this vehicle, and with that rate of fire, with that penetration power, with that mobility, it's something that Gaijin usually refuses to give out to German, normal tankers in terms of Tech 3 or even a premium. The Packwagen is insanely fun. So what I need to do right now is to make sure that despite my team having the early advantage, or had the early advantage, the enemy now captured A and our entire team just crumbled. There is a PT-76 behind me, and how to get now into A, this is a big problem. And there I actually hit the Panther, but it was not good enough to knock him out with one shot, didn't give enough lead. This will become very interesting later on. So now I'm making here a dangerous move. I actually decide to go to A from behind, practically from the side of the enemy. Now this has advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantages are that if somebody spawns just from the rear, he just can shoot you, and that is not really nice because the hull of the rear is not very strongly armored, and also your side is vulnerable. And now there is an SPA and he knocks me out. I wait until the Panther actually turns around. He obviously saw me on the minimap. He was trying to hold here an ambush. Now I repair my transmission, and the SPA is gone. We will see later on a bit more of this SPA. And I have to say the Germans here put mostly a they fought very well. And so it was really nice to have this battle, spoiler alert, with the good results. Now there I saw here now the STA being pinged on the minimap. You might have noticed that I looked into the direction of this hill multiple times. And now I'm just hoping that the SPA turned away after he has done his job of disabling me for a short period of time. But American repair times are awesome, and especially on the T-29 they are not that long. So I'm running actually a bit low on APCBC rounds with high explosive filler. Now you notice that I have just 2 ammunition types, and that is the reason because I actually should use 1 or 2 HE shells, but yeah, I experiment here a little bit even now and then how to use which kind of ammunition loadout is the most efficient. And the AP shell with that penetration power, with that rate of fire, with that spalling damage, or with that fragmentation pattern, it's awesome. And what is that? Is that the pack wagon that previously was on the other side of the map? Well, now he's dead. It actually was a true knockout with an over penetration, so that was pretty lucky. In other news, I just would have gunned him down with 50 cals. The lower glacis of those Sonderkraftfahrzeugs, as well as some parts of the gun shield, can be penetrated with machine gun fire. I'm observing this plane, he's turning around, and now let's just come across the anti-aircraft firepower of this plane. There we can see I hit him multiple times with the machine gun. I got a critical hit awarded a few seconds later, which is strange, and he dropped the bomb into the building, which did no severe damage to me. So now what to do? Where are the enemy tanks? I think there is still this tank here between me and the enemy spawn point. Now I got the kill on the BF-109, must have been an engine hit, and there is now an Do 335 coming in. Now I have some problems here elevating the gun. The gun elevation angles are not the very best. I hit him a few times with the machine gun, but no severe damage, and now I'm reversing him, making it a little bit difficult for him to get easy on me, to get an easy attack run on me, on my location. And I have the feeling that he comes towards me. Now, the flight models of German planes have some problems because they cannot attack in deep dives and hoping to get out. That was again a big hit on the wing, and I actually hoped that he would crash, but he tipped to the other side. Don't ask me why, but at least I hit him. Eventually he will go down. But back to German flight models. Very often they just have severe difficulties getting out of a dive again. So they very often come into shallow angles, and American tanks have the advantage of being armed with 50 cals. Something that every single German tank lacks, except some premiums. MKPZ M47 being one of them, and I think it's just such a disadvantage for German tanks overall. If I think about so many potato trucks, so many light tanks where the crew is open to be shot at. Now the T-34-85 here does a very good job at screening in front of me while I stay in the cab. Staying in the cab gives me in theory a shorter repair time, and oh, there is another plane coming in. I had no chance of getting guns on him. I also pointed my turret into the direction of the biggest enemy threat, and then a plane crashed and it gave me my 8th kill. So I'm staying in the cab. I want to defend it. There are not that many tanks of my team left. As you can see, there are 2 planes in the air, and we are in total 3 tanks. So the enemy team has here the advantage of knowing our locations and having probably superior numbers, or the numbers advantage. I tried to pre-elevate the gun, but again, the angles are not the very best. P-47 comes in, and there is an SPA, and he makes a goddamn good job of knocking out my gun barrel. And at exactly that time, the Panther comes around the corner. Oh, that's not good, that's not good. I need to hide my lower glacis and probably also the machine gun port, and he makes sure that my gun barrel is now knocked out. But I was already in the repair, and now he makes the crucial mistake of standing still and letting me finish the repair. Good night, sunshine. And that was that guy that previously escaped me. And here I made the mistake of coming out of cover in front of the Kugelblitz, Ostwind, and he again goes for my gun barrel, my gun breech, gun barrel, and then a P-47 comes in and actually gets the kill on the Ostwind with a rocket strike. And I mean, the irony. And I'm repaired. And yeah, I'm reloading here the gun, and that's the battle actually. So, as valiantly as they fought, at the end the Germans lost again, and this one was actually a pretty nice survivor medal. So yeah, let's have a look at the result and let's see if it was actually worth it in terms of pure silver lines. So here we have the results: 2 airplane kills, 7 tanks, 1 capture zone, surviving the battle, giving me an income of 92,000 silver lines, 9,000 research points. Pure profit is 90,000, so I think I will play a bit more T-29 in the upcoming days. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields of War Thunder.